Hello, once again, you are welcome to the chapter by chapter analysis of Redemption Road by Elma Shaw. In the last class, we did started analysis up to chapter 5. So, as a recap, in chapter 5, there has been so much representation of emotional and psychological weaknesses or sufferings of war victims. And the experiences of Bendu was also revealed how she came in contact with her former captor, Moses Vani, or what you know in the story to be Commander Cobra, and how that affected her deeply. Today we'll continue with chapter 6. And in the chapter 6, we are going to look at the significant turning points. So on your screen, we said flashback reveals Bendu's experiences as a young girl during the Civil War. So there has been a lot of flashback, and if you don't know what a flashback is, I think you should follow my channel. And in one of my lives, I explain to details what flashback is. So there has been like the chapter 6 actually marked a significant turning point in the narrative as Bendu is assigned to conduct a psychological evaluation of Cobra, her former captor, the man that traumatized her. Now, this development actually forces her into direct confrontation with the man who symbolizes her trauma, with the man who caused her all the pain she went through during the war and the trauma she has been trying to avoid or confront. She is now face to face with that. So the chapter 6 is also characterized by intense internal conflict as Bendu, our protagonist here, struggles to balance her professional responsibilities of conducting a psychological evaluation of Cobra with her personal pain. There's difficulty in striking the balance between professionalism and personal sufferings of pain that she has gone through. So the flashback, like there was a flashback you read on the screen. So the flashback to her time in captivity begin to emerge more vividly, revealing the deeply or the depth of her suffering. So in confrontation with Cobra, it actually brought her back face to face with reality. And that brought back a lot of things that happened to her in the past. Now, while this was going on, Cobra is presented in a subdued state within the prison environment. So Cobra was in prison ready for his trial, creating a stark contrast between his past as a powerful warlord and his present vulnerability. The once famous, powerful, strong Cobra coming face to face with the presence where he has been so vulnerable. Vulnerability here simply means very exposed, very weak, not as powerful and strong as we knew him to be during the time of the war. Despite this physical reversal of power, he continues to exert psychological influence over Bendu anytime they met through the memories he evokes. So this man caused you pain. You have been assigned to conduct a psychological evaluation of him, which automatically means that he will recall the past. And his recalling of the past or the flashback actually reminds you of what you have gone through in his hands. Shaw thus demonstrates that, like Elma Shaw demonstrates or uses this chapter to show this influence of or the forever influence of Cobra over Bendu. While the war may be over, the psychological impact persists. So, as a way of summarizing the chapter 6 for you, the chapter 6 exposes you and I to the fact that victims of war, the pain, the agony, the sufferings of victims of war does not end when the war ends. No, their psychological pain continues even when the war is far gone or is over. Now, the next chapter will be chapter 7 for this series. So, the tension that has been building up intensifies in this chapter. Now, Bendu begins direct interactions with Cobra face to face. Their exchanges are emotionally charged and marked by a complex interplay of silence, hostility, reluctant engagement. It looks like, sorry, it looks like the purpose isn't going to be achieved because, even in real life, it's very difficult to come face to face with the cause of your pain and still be professional about it. Cobra's attempt to reflect on his actions introduces the possibility of remorse, though Shaw deliberately leaves this sincerity ambiguous. If you read the story, Elma Shaw didn't significantly state that Cobra became remorseful, but his attempt to reflect on his own actions actually shows a certain level of remorse that you should note as a reader of the story. Now, the fact that Elma Shaw left this or made this ambiguous forces you and I, the reader, to confront certain difficult questions about guilt and redemption, freedom coming out. So, for a character like Bendu, the encounter between her and Cobra triggers her intrusive flashback, specifically of the abuse or the abuses and the humiliations that she endured during the time of the war. So, one significant thing that you should know from chapter 7 is that it portrays memory as a very active, or we can also call it destructive force that can continue or that is capable of continuing to shape your present reality. So the relationship between a victim, Bendu, and a perpetrator or the victor, Cobra, is shown clearly to be the psychological entangle that underscores the difficulty of achieving through closure. To be able to achieve through closure, you should be able to confront your past. So this brings us to the end of the analysis of chapter 6 and chapter 7. See you in chapter 8 and chapter 9. Bye bye.